Among the many things that an NBA franchise can aspire to do, winning a championship and putting together a team that expects to remain as a contender for multiple years are probably the ones that every organization should have in common. However, it's also one of the hardest things to do when it comes to sports. After all, there's a reason why 11 franchises haven't been able to win their first title. Still, that doesn't mean it's an impossible thing to do. But for all of those who have been able to enjoy a championship parade, it has usually meant finding the right combination of players, coaches, and executives at the right moment. And for the Dallas Mavericks, it seems like things are slowly starting to fall into place after a few years of disappointing seasons. Welcome to Courtside. Today we're talking about the potential of the young Mavericks and how it could be a matter of time before they start to make deep playoff runs. One of the most significant news that has surfaced about a team during the offseason is how it almost acquired Kobe Bryant a little over a decade ago, or how its owner rescued a former player from indigence. Usually means one of two things. Either things have been going so bad that no one is paying attention, or things have been going so smooth. Luckily for fans in Dallas, the Mavericks are in the second situation. After a season in which the team managed to return to the playoffs and had a solid performance despite multiple injuries to key players, it became clear that there are many reasons to be optimistic about them. Of course, making the playoffs was not a great accomplishment in itself, but it was an indicator of the things that should be to come in the following years, while also serving as proof of the team's ability to win games. And even better, the fact they're not facing as much drama as teams in Houston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, or part of Los Angeles goes to show how everything seems to be under control in Dallas. The first reason for that calmness is simple. They have the services of Luka Doncic. Having the youngest player in history to finish in the top 5 in MVP voting on your roster is something that most organizations can only dream of. Having him on a rookie deal is almost too perfect to be true, but it is. The young Slovenian leaped forward this season, taking his already good production to superstar status while also becoming a first-time All-Star, All-NBA first-team selection, and one of the most popular players in the league. Then he followed that up with one of the best postseason debuts ever, an MVP-worthy series in which he helped his team win a couple of games against a more talented and experienced squad, and a buzzer beater that was one of the most exciting moments of the bubble playoffs. Doncic solidified himself as one of the best players in the league, and while his production and confidence at age 21 still surprise most people, they serve as reminders that he's already guided a team to a championship in one of the most competitive leagues in the world. He came into the league with the tools to be an excellent player, and it took him no time to adapt his game to the NBA and find a new level. Still, he has room to improve as a player, and that should only make people in Dallas more excited about the future of the Mavs. But even as good as Doncic is, there's no way his team could thrive in the league if he didn't have a great supporting cast. And that's where things get even better for Dallas. Realizing the potential of their young star, the team decided the best would be to pair him with another star that could complement him and help to do the heavy lifting. So when the Knicks decided to give up on Kristaps Porzingis, the Mavericks wasted no time and made a trade for him. The move didn't come without concerns, as Porzingis was healing from a torn ACL, and many people wondered how that could affect his game. However, the opportunity was too good to pass up. Kristaps didn't have a profile as high as Luka during his first few seasons in the league, but his skill set was just as unique as that of his new teammate. Despite being one of the tallest players in the league, the Latvian is capable of shooting the ball from anywhere on the court, making him a threat to score over most defenders without being bothered. His play has drawn comparisons to Mavericks legend Dirk Nowitzki. However, Dirk himself has said he believes Porzingis is more talented than he was at his age. His distinctive combination of talents also earned him the label of unicorn by Kevin Durant during his rookie season. So, on paper, a star big man that could shoot from anywhere, score close to the basket, and block any shot looked like the perfect partner for Doncic, even if bringing him over meant waiting as he healed up. And when the next season started, the unicorn proved the Mavericks were right. At first, Kristaps had a few stretches of inconsistency as he regained his playing form and adjusted to a new system, as well as to playing with Doncic. But he made steady improvements as the season progressed, and then during a stretch in which Luka was out because of injury, he showed improvements as the team's main scoring option, which helped him to establish his rhythm going forward. Then, when games inside the Orlando bubble started, he was also able to increase his production. Sadly, he could only play half of the series against the Clippers after suffering an injury in his right knee. Still, his impact during the season and the way he played along with Doncic proved the duo has the potential to become a dominant force in the league. And if both are healthy, it should be only a matter of time until they reach that point. In short, with that much talent on board, it would be enough to make any team excited about its future. However, there's another element that complements the two stars and separates the franchise from the rest. Despite missing the playoffs in 3 of the last 4 seasons, the Mavericks have been one of the most consistent teams in the Western Conference since the 2000-2001 season, thanks in large part to Mark Cuban and Donnie Nelson. Together, the duo was able to put great teams around Nowitzki, which helped them reach the finals in 2006 and again in 2011, where they won their first title. Neither Cuban nor Nelson has been afraid to make large investments in the past whenever they missed out on the best free agents, even if the moves were risky. Some examples of that include signing of Chandler Parsons, Harrison Barnes, and Monta Ellis. Still, that same approach led them to trade up in the 2018 draft to acquire Doncic and then to trading for Porzingis a few months later. In particular, Cuban has been open about how he thinks the young duo could lead to multiple championships, while also mentioning how he won't make the mistake of breaking them up too early, as he did with Nowitzki and Steve Nash in 2004. So with that in consideration, it's safe to say the front office will do whatever it has to do to bring in more talent and put themselves in a better position to win a title. Currently, they've managed to do just that. The team's supporting cast consists mostly of excellent shooters who benefited from Doncic's passing and helped the Mavs' offense become one of the best in the league. However, there are still a few things that could be improved. Despite the offense being at historical levels, their defense is still far from being where it should be, and fixing it should be their priority during the offseason. Another thing that could help would be to bring in another creator that could take the ball out of Doncic's hands a few times during games. Last but not least, bringing a few playoff vets should also be on the list of things to do in the offseason. As the Lakers and Heat showed on their way to the finals, having a few veterans that are capable of shooting, creating, and playing solid defense can make a big difference for any contender. Of course, the team probably won't be able to fix all of these things in the offseason. As it has become clear by now, the Mavericks will focus on keeping their cap flexibility for 2021, when Giannis Antetokounmpo and other elite players will become free agents. According to multiple reports, Dallas could be one of the places with a real chance of acquiring the Greek Freak, if he doesn't sign an extension with the Bucks, that is. However, at the moment, there are no clear indications that Giannis will look to leave Milwaukee in a year. And even if he does, the Mavs will have to compete with the rest of the league for the services of the two-time MVP. So aside from making a few trades or using their mid-level exception, it's unlikely the team makes too many moves this year. Still, Dallas has some history of missing out on most star free agents. That means there's a possibility they fail to acquire a third star next year. But even if that ends up being the case, the team shouldn't have to worry too much about the chances of competing for a title. This season, the Lakers proved that a star duo is enough to win it all, and that should work in the Mavericks' favor. Outside of Durant and Irving, there's no other duo that resembles the pairing of Anthony Davis and LeBron James as much as Doncic and Porzingis do when it comes to talent and skill. It's clear that both are still a few years away from reaching a level when they compare to James and Davis, but there are some evident similarities in their styles as duos, so if they're surrounded by the right piece, there's no reason to believe Luka and KP couldn't help Dallas replicate what Los Angeles did this year in a few seasons. Overall, while the young duo could soon turn into one of the most talented in the league, feels like they should be a couple of years away from emerging as contenders. Still, if they keep getting better, it's hard to see them remaining stuck in the first round. Ultimately, whether they make it to the conference finals in 2 years or 4 years might depend on who's playing around them. And Cuban knows this, so we should see the front office remain busy in the next couple of seasons as they try to find the right pieces to make the most out of their young stars as soon as possible. But now, what do you think is the Mavericks' ceiling? Do you believe they need a third star to become contenders? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.